shadow on the floor, standing there waiting for change, but it never came, baby. Wait, I think that I've seen your face somewhere all over the place, standing there preaching you change, but you never did, baby. You were never there, darling. I was there at the call of my name. You were never there, darling, and maybe that's why I don't remember your name anymore. Remember your name anymore. Don't you dare, don't walk away just because you got nothing to say. Watching your ego deflate on the floor right before me. Down on your knees, and you're begging me, please forgive you and just walk away. And I don't work like that, darling. You were never there, darling. Oh, I was there at the call of my name. You were never there, darling, and maybe that's why I don't remember your name You were never there, darling. I was there at the call of my name. You were never there, darling, and maybe that's why you will remember my.
Welcome to the Everything Sparkle Show. We have a great day packed with live animals. We have the great Melanie Warner here because she is a best-selling author. And then at the end, we are going to show you the premiere of Ring Toss. Cody, what did you bring me?
Well, it's been a secret. Are you ready to see some of them? You do that now? Okay. All right. I'm going to start off with something small, okay? And it's got 6 legs, so it's not a reptile at all. But it comes from the Philippines, okay? And I'll let you hold this and go ahead and look for it. Tell me when you find it.
What? Oh my gosh.
There you go. You see it?
Oh my gosh. That is
Turn
so
around.
beautiful. This, I thought it was a leaf. That is so everyone does that, right? Oh my
Yeah.
god. You saw it right away.
It's a giant leaf bug is what it is here.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I love it.
And look, this one is a female. She's totally harmless. She can't bite or pinch or sting or anything. So I'm going to put it
Oh,
in
are
your
the
hand.
males harmful?
No, the males can fly though. So I don't bring the males
Oh.
because if I bring a male, he'll start flying around here and it's a disaster. So I bring the girls. They're also much prettier, the girls. Yeah, so look, this one we started off with 2 of them, and now we have hundreds of eggs
Oh,
because
wow.
that only lives 9 months, but it'll lay about 300 to 400 eggs in that 9 months.
That is amazing.
So we have tons and tons of those
Lives to
bugs.
reproduce.
Lives to reproduce? Yeah, I don't like to put it that way usually, but I'm sure it enjoys its life too. But yeah, it has lots of babies, and actually when they hatch, they're super cute. This is beautiful.
So
big
where do
like
you
that, but
find
they're
these? I mean, like where would I travel to see these like flying around?
Okay, you'd have to go to the Philippines. We didn't go to the
Only?
Philippines and catch it. Yeah, only for that specific one. We
Oh,
have
that's so
stick
special.
bugs and bugs from all over the world, but that one's from the Philippines.
Wow.
And we don't catch them in the wild. So what we do is we're actually a rescue. We do education and entertainment and stuff too, but we take in animals as rescue. So we get pythons and lizards and tortoises and stuff from all over the world that are given to us because they're either sick or injured or something like that. So we take them in and raise
That's
them.
so neat, Cody. So how long have you been doing this? Getting pets and
Okay, I've been getting pets and taking care of pets since I can remember. My dad had all this stuff before I was born. So my dad's Reptile Ron. I'm his son, Cody. And what we do is we travel and we do shows. They're usually education and entertainment. And my dad had all this stuff before I was born. He bred them and did rescue.
Nice.
For my my third grade class rather, we did a show and tell with my dad's animals. The teachers loved
exciting.
it. Yeah, so they asked us to come back and do more for the other classrooms, and then now we do that and travel and do shows.
You're like the Fresno version of Steve Irwin.
No,
Like-
no. Steve Irwin's great. Steve Irwin's great. Here, let me see
What?
this. She's just reaching for
That
something.
is so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Here, I'll put this one up. I got another one for you. This one, again, was from the Philippines. The next one that I brought is from Africa, actually. It's from Tanzania, which is in East Africa. And you know what? Here, I'll pass it to you right now. It's just a little baby, okay? And sometimes it does get nervous. You can tell if it hides. But
Oh.
there we go. Let me put this one up. That is called a pancake tortoise, by the way.
Pancake.
So that pancake tortoise in Tanzania, where it's from, is actually becoming an endangered species, believe it or not. So right now it's threatened, and someone was kind enough to donate us 9 of those. So to get 9 of a nearly endangered species was super
incredible.
cool. Yeah, it was awesome. And what's even better is since we've got them, one of our females laid 2 eggs. So we're going to have babies of those pancake tortoises. That one's a baby.
What a
pretty
big
much, but-
responsibility when it's. I mean, knowing that you're kind of having.
You know what? The biggest responsibility is just the amount of animals that we have. So when we do shows, we bring like maybe 10 animals, and people think, oh, these are all your pets. A small fraction is what we
No.
bring. We have hundreds and hundreds of things.
All at your house?
Well, we have some employees, so we have 4 houses where we keep all the animals. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking. We have hundreds. If you include the bugs, we have over 1,000 animals. We've got so much stuff. It's kind of crazy sometimes, but that's how we like it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this one's about 3 years old or so. It'll live to be about 60 or 65.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have them for a long time too. When we take an
So
animal in, it's
you
a
can
long.
have it. This is when you're a child, and when you're old, you guys can grow old together.
Yeah, and you could write it in your will even for some of them.
I give my floor curtains to my pet turtle.
You write the turtle in the will to your kids, because once you're gone, the tortoise might still be around. By the way, I should have specified, this one is a tortoise, which means it lives on land. So we also have turtles, but I don't usually
How
travel
big
with
is
turtles.
this gonna?
Like maybe this big or so.
Okay.
They don't get
Small.
giant. We have
So not like the
giant
tortoise
tortoises.
that's outside our mascot out there.
Yeah, I don't travel with those ones. They're too heavy and they're real rowdy, those big tortoises, so I don't bring them.
Yes, our home tours did try to attack me one time. No one believes it. I'm like, well, I felt that way. I was
That's
coming in at
hilarious.
night, and it was just like,
You spooked them.
I think so. Yeah.
I've seen a tortoise try to bite a person one time in my whole life. It was my mom. And listen, no, there's actually a good reason of why it did this. They eat plants, okay, and her toenails were painted red. So
Oh
it thought they
my
were
God.
strawberries and it wanted to eat her toes. That's the only time I've ever seen a tortoise attack. They're real
Dun, dun,
peaceful
dun.
creatures, as you can see. It can't really hurt anybody. This next one's actually one of my personal favorites. His name is Seymour. He comes from Madagascar. And he is a panther chameleon is what he's called.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
this
he's
is like my
beautiful.
favorite color. I love it.
Yeah, so if you look at his eyes, you'll see his eyes are looking different directions. He has a super long tongue. I can't make him shoot it out, but it's actually this long. And hold him up to your shirt
I
right there.
love his eyes. They're so
Yeah,
funny. They're
to
looking
your
like
shirt. See if he'll turn yellow? Yeah, you'll want to get the camera on this because chameleons, they camouflage, and that's what we've learned about him. So if you look real closely, you'll see him. Look, he's gone completely. You can't see him at all. Can you see him, Sparkle? The chameleon's disappeared. I'm joking. Listen, chameleons can't camouflage. So if you've seen that on TV or you read that in a children's book or something, it's not true. They
How
cannot
dare they,
camouflage.
Rapunzel?
Yeah, Rapunzel's responsible for that
Pascal?
too. Pascal, yeah, he blends in. They cannot do that in real life. He changes with his moods, so he won't actually
So it's
camouflage
like
at all.
it's like a living mood ring.
Yeah, it's
Do we
exactly
know if
what it
he's
is.
in a bad mood or a good mood? We
Oh,
can't.
he's ready to strike right now. Is what's going on. He's going to attack. He's really angry.
Because he's in red.
No, I'm kidding. That is that's his happy mood. So he's content. He's
looks
happy and
very
he's just
happy.
hanging out with us and he's
No,
enjoying
he looks
himself.
very leery. His eyes are like, I don't know if I trust you. That's exactly
He
how
just
he's
looks
looking.
very
He's giving me the
mad.
eye, Cody.
No, he's not. He's just making sure you're safe. He gets nervous easy. So we're always slow and gentle with him and stuff because chameleons are actually real finicky animals.
I love his tail. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
how
look-
it falls like that. That is
look.
just super cute.
Let me show you something with his tail. Let's see if he'll let me. Let me reach across here. His tail is actually so strong, hang on to that branch for a sec, that he can hang from his tail like this. And actually, what he'll do is he'll hang from a branch and bugs that are below him, he'll shoot his tongue out and eat
And
them
he gets
while
even
he's hanging
more
from his
length.
branch. Yeah, it's really, really neat. You want to hold him? Here, put your hand out like that. And there you go. And he'll just hang out right there.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll be next. Pretty neat creature, though.
Kind
Huh?
of nice that he has thumbs in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Those are really odd hands. That's cool.
His hands are built for gripping branches.
His hands and feet are so. This is like.
Yeah, here, put your hand right
Oh
in
my
front of him
gosh,
and he'll
that's
just
the
climb onto
coolest
you.
thing ever.
He'll probably climb up to your head because he likes to get
I'm
as high as
thinking
he
of
can.
that.
So.
It's like that animated film that they made, like a real film. Oh, I'm trying to think of what you know what I'm thinking of. What's that
Rango.
creature?
Yeah, it was
Rango.
Rango. It was Johnny Depp.
Oh,
Rango.
I love
yeah.
Rango.
Oh yeah, we saw
Johnny
Rango
Depp.
together.
It was Johnny Depp voiced
I didn't
Rango.
know that.
Yeah, yeah. That movie kind
I
of got it
love
right
it.
actually because he didn't blend in a lot in that movie,
No.
so they got it right. It's rare though that they do that.
He mostly stayed green and brown for the entire movie.
Yeah, he was a veiled chameleon.
Mostly brown.
Here, check this out. Let's get him right. Let's get him right up here. He's comfortable up there. There we go. He likes to be up high, so we want him to be nice and comfortable. Perfect. And you can kind of put your hands right there to make sure he doesn't slide down. There we go.
It's tails on her ear.
Yeah, he's holding on. He doesn't want to fall. And for those of you, by the way, I should mention when you see the cool animals that we brought, if you want something like that as a pet someday, here, I'll scoop them up. We also do adoptions. So because we take stuff in all the time, we do adopt stuff out on occasion. Now, I do recommend you do thorough research before you decide to get a chameleon or something like that. Just because that's how we get them is people don't research, they want to get rid of them, we take them. But if you are interested, the number that we have below here, you can book a show, but you could also call us if you have questions about adoption or something like that. Or if you need to surrender an animal, you can call that exact same number and we can answer those questions for you.
What, can we have an animal for the weekend?
Can you have it? No, I don't usually rent out animals. Maybe I could make an exception or something, but no. If you want an animal for a short period of time, you can book a show with us, and we'll bring the animals and let you hang out with them for a while. Yeah,
and we have that information as well to book you, right?
Yes, that's the phone number. That's
And
right down there.
what's like the hour time span that you? What's the longest and the shortest you prefer to do a show?
We're totally flexible. So we can do, when we do preschools, we usually do shorter shows because the kids are young. So we do 30-minute presentations for preschoolers, but we can do all day long events as well. So we can set up a booth even and have animals all
the
day.
next one, Cody? I'm nervous
Okay.
now. I feel like we're getting bigger and bigger, so I don't know what's going to
Yeah, we are getting bigger and bigger. I got to get out of my chair actually
you
to
can
get over there.
totally
So
go.
hang tight. I'll be right back.
Oh my.
He's going to take a moment to get out of here.
I hope he's just in a good mood. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, he's always in a good mood. I don't bring the mean ones.
Oh my.
Okay. So look, you two are gonna hold it, and I'll talk about it. Okay. So you stay right there. You stay right there. I'll bring it to you. And look, I'm gonna go this part right over here.
Oh,
So
I
you
love
gotta you gotta hold that, and then you.
Oh,
scoot
he's
it
nice
close.
and cold actually. This is good. It's actually very hot in the studio, so
That's you, right?
this is really
Just get up over your shoulder.
this is
Perfect.
neat. This is nice and like it's refreshing.
Yeah, they're cold-blooded, so they're cool to the touch. What this is, let me slide it. This is a Burmese python, okay? His name's Sunshine. And he's a huge snake. He's actually only about 4.5 years old, so he gets even bigger than this.
He blends in with
And
that shirt.
yeah, he does perfectly. He doesn't. They're not usually this color, by the way. He's albino, so usually they're brown and black.
So
But
albino for a snake is yellow?
is yellow and white. Yes, yellow and white. What that means is it's just missing the melanin in its skin. So it was born with a little deformity, but it's very pretty because of that. A lot of people, they see these giant snakes and they get a little nervous. Are you comfortable, by the way?
Oh, yeah,
I just
I
put it
love
on
it.
you
I
guys,
love
so you guys are good.
Oh, it's
Okay,
awesome.
good. I'm glad you feel that way.
Perfectly normal.
Listen, my favorite fact to share about the big snakes is that I've had them my whole life, okay? My dad had them before I was born. Never been bit by an adult python. So I've been bit by little snakes and stuff. It happens. But I love to tell people that usually when they're adults, if you work with them a little bit, they're totally harmless. It will not hurt you. I promise. It's
I
super,
love
super
it.
sweet.
No, I do. I'm just
Do you know what it eats?
Mice.
Mice? Mice are a little small for it. Take another guess.
Small bear cubs.
Small bear cubs? No, I don't have bear cubs. It probably would eat a small bear cub, but no, I don't feed it small bear cubs. It actually eats rabbits, okay? And I love rabbits. I have pet rabbits, so we don't feed them live. We actually get all of our food frozen. We buy frozen mice and rats and rabbits, and we feed our animals thawed out frozen food like that. So part of the job is having freezers full of creatures.
What is the point? So if you had some hunter friends that went to go kill some rabbits, you'd make sure it was frozen first, or would you give it to them?
Oh, frozen and then thawed.
Is
basically.
it because you don't want them to get used to having?
No, that's not it at all. It's just I like all kinds of creatures, okay, and I don't want to watch a snake eat a living thing.
I understand that
Oh,
part.
if someone did hunt a rabbit and
Yeah.
they got to my house soon enough with the rabbit, the snake would eat it. But snakes don't eat dead animals usually. So when we thaw out the rabbit, we warm it
Now
up.
I understand.
Yeah, the snake doesn't know that, so they're not scavengers by any means. They don't want to eat dead animals.
This guy is so.
Oh, he's over here.
He's nice, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what would spook him? What's his deal?
Nothing. I
You
listen.
just chill all day.
Yeah,
It's easy.
I mean this. I'm not exaggerating. You could not really upset that snake unless you just did something totally crazy. But in any environment, it doesn't matter if there's one person or 1,000 people, the snake doesn't get stressed. And that's what's great about the reptiles, actually, is they don't have like a social part of their brain. So they don't really comprehend what's going on. If I had a bird or a cat or something, it would start to freak out as more people came around. But these snakes, they don't mind at all, which is easy for the job. Yeah. Very soft and smooth skin too. People always think they're slimy. There's no slime on there. They feel really good. Do you want to try to hold them by yourself, one of you? Feel heaviest? All right, here. Stand up.
heavy, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
So here.
But I'm sitting in a chair, so it'll be easier.
Oh, he's all over my leg.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, so here, stand up. You're going to show everybody how strong
Oh,
you
this
are.
is amazing. That was pretty heavy, I must say.
That's hot. There you go, and you can let this tail hang.
Okay, Cody, do you ever sleep with any of these animals?
Okay, come on, Sparkle.
I'm just saying, like, I mean,
Jeez.
do they ever, like, because I like to get
My
cozy. Can you do
goodness.
that or can you not?
Okay, look.
What
you-
would happen if he was, like, in your bed all night? Would you,
Nothing would happen aside from me being a weirdo for sleeping with a huge snake.
what's the same? People sleep with their dogs. What's the difference?
Yeah, okay, here's the difference.
Okay,
It is a good
tell me the
question.
difference.
It is a good question. We get that
Well,
question all the time.
thanks.
Look, here's the thing, is that dogs, they do have a social part of their brain, okay? So they want to be in a pack. They have a connection that they form with the creatures around them.
Okay.
Snakes don't care about any of that. I could hold that snake. He'll live 35 years. I could hold him every day for 35 years, and he would not care about me. I don't say that, because I don't
Really?
care about him.
So he doesn't know you?
He does not know me. He sees me every day. He has no idea who I am. Their brains
Wow.
can't recognize facial features, nothing like that. So there's
Interesting.
yeah. If you lay down with him and snuggle with him, the only thing he likes about that is that we're warm and he's cold-blooded, so we're a source of warmth. But he doesn't need my affection. He doesn't get excited to see me or anything like that, unfortunately. So I do have normal people pets like dogs and cats and stuff. I like to, I let them.
Where
come
would
in
you
my room
keep
and hang out.
those? When you have all these other pets?
Yeah, so that snake would probably eat a dog or a cat.
Exactly.
So what we do is we keep all the animals separate. Okay, we don't have this stuff just slithering around our house and
That's not
things
very
like that. It's very controlled. The snakes actually prefer smaller environments as well, so we have them in their own tiny little environment. And our dogs and cats get the house and the backyard like regular people do. So it's there's nothing weird going on. We don't have lizards in the kitchen and stuff like that. We try to live normally.
That would be pretty cool. I would love to go to someone's house. You just never know what's gonna pop.
You know what? No, I've been in situations like that. Like we've had animals escape, and the problem with that is if you got to get up in the middle of the night or something, and you're walking across the house, you could step on something and hurt it. Like
I know.
the snake has 300 bones or more. So if I stepped on the snake, I could break a bone and hurt him or something. So we can't have him slithering around the house.
And what happens when he breaks a bone? Do you put him in a cast? I mean, has that happened?
It has not happened, thankfully. It's not good if that happens. We do have a vet that we see, is the San Joaquin Veterinary Hospital. It's actually here in Fresno and Blackstone. They're real good with the reptiles. But no broken bones with a snake. That could be a real bad injury if they get broken bones, because, you can't put a cast on a snake, It's difficult. Here, let me get him before he gets tied up in that chair.
Yeah, he looks a little. Well, I actually can't see him.
All right, here. Oops. Here.
Oh, he decided to wrap his tail
he is
around.
such a strong.
Look,
you know.
this is another reason why I can't have them around the house. They make messes and they get in stuff. And...
The tablecloth comes out with all the dishes. It's just like.
So here, I'm going to put this guy away, and I will show you one more creature that I brought.
See,
Okay.
he's looking at us. I can't believe he doesn't have feelings.
And he
Look,
doesn't
you can
look
believe
very
if you want.
curious.
I like to believe that they all love me and appreciate me, but I don't have any evidence for that. So
Maybe we'll
we're just
someday.
going to believe. Okay, The final one.
Oh my! Dun dun dun.
I'm
Are
gonna
you
give him
nervous?
my
I'm
chair.
nervous.
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna put the animal on my chair.
Oh my-
Komodo dragon.
Come on. No, this one's from Europe, actually.
Oh my
Okay.
god!
He comes from Belgium.
I-
Let me wipe him off.
Oh, it's just giant bunny.
Okay. And because of this season, he is shedding, but look how big this rabbit is. He is a Flemish giant, is what he's called. So I apologize. He is shedding right now. But he is, again, his name is Mr. Darcy, the Flemish
Mr.
giant.
Darcy, yes.
These are
Oh
the
my
largest
gosh.
breed of
This is
rabbit
some
on Earth.
Jane
Let me get
Austen
that.
reference.
There we go. Yeah, they're the largest breed, and basically they were selectively bred in Europe for their fur and their meat.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know he's shedding real bad. It's the season change, is what's going on.
Cody, I give you so much credit that you brought both of these, like two people that can like eat each other and mean two animals.
Look, we keep them separated, okay? We keep them separated. Mr. Darcy will have a very long life. We don't let him hang out with the snakes, I promise. But yeah, he's another one that we bring to shows. So rabbits are usually real skittish creatures. He's awesome. He hangs out with hundreds of kids. We do big crowds, and he's a really good sport. He's a sweetie. This is one I would let cuddle with me. Okay, so I don't cuddle with the snakes and stuff, but I would cuddle with the rabbit as long as he's not shedding like this. This is actually kind of crazy.
Okay, so what's his deal? He's just really calm right now in the chair. Does he ever run around?
No.
He's
No,
always
he's the most calm rabbit I've ever seen in my whole life. Usually rabbits are quick and they're skittish and they like to run and
But
kick
not
and
this
stuff.
breed, or
But
not
it's
him?
it's the breed. So they're large. They're large and they just kind of lop around slow. Listen, when we got him, he behaved more like a dog than a rabbit. So he would follow us around. He wanted to be next to us. And get this, I'm not kidding. He picked a spot where he would use the bathroom. We put a litter box there, and he uses a litter box. He potty trained himself in like days. It was so easy. So he uses a litter box.
Didn't you have a rabbit that just had a room?
Yeah.
Where
whole
it used
room?
the bathroom everywhere?
Wow.
No, he actually would use it in the cage.
But he
That
had a
was the
whole
bathroom.
room.
Yeah.
The cage was the
Yeah,
bathroom.
he had his own room.
Wow, the rabbit was living the dream. He had his own room.
I know. I
That's
mean,
pretty cool.
those were the days. Oh my God, this is. I mean, you could put him in a Cadbury commercial.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
Cadbury, like,
He's always a hit.
Your sponsor.
Yeah, I bring him because a lot of people, they don't like snakes and spiders and stuff like that, which is what we usually bring. So I have to bring
People are
something
weird.
cute. Hey, I agree. But I have to bring something cute for everybody else.
Something cuddly.
For
Oh
all
my
the
God.
kids that want to be in on the action, but they don't want to hang
Yeah,
out
they
with
want
the
something
snakes.
fluffy and cute.
I love
I
it.
apologize for the hair, by the way.
So, are you ever gonna have a kind of like a type of zoo area that we can all see them at, or not really?
Okay,
I know-
so yeah, that's a question we get asked a lot because we have so much cool stuff. People want to come and visit us.
Right.
Right now, we don't have anything going on as far as visitation for us. But in the future, we would love to have a place, like a community place where kids can come and see animals and learn about them. Because honestly, the most fun part about the job is we bring stuff from different countries. Kids don't get to see this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And especially all over the valley, we go places where the kids may never get to see an animal from Asia or the Philippines or something. So it's super rewarding. If we could get a place someday, that is our goal. So I can't make any promises right now, but a goal is to have a place where we can do education and entertainment and get to enjoy the animals.
Till
So-
now, we just have to go to your house, and the address is.
Yeah, not on the screen. Maybe we'll have some visitors sometime, but yeah, we usually don't host too much. But if you do want to see some of our animals, again, that number on there, you can call. We will go to a school, a birthday party. I mean, we do business events, all kinds of stuff. We wouldn't say no to anything. We love to go everywhere with the animals, so we don't say no, and we can totally work around any amount of time or what kind of animals. We do bird shows as well, okay? So we do toucans and macaws and owls and hawks, birds of prey. And we do insect and arachnid shows with centipedes and scorpions and tarantulas. So you
Oh,
can,
I'm
yeah.
kind of glad you didn't bring those.
No. You can call us, okay, and you
These are
can
awesome.
request certain animals, and we will work around whatever you're interested in. If we have it, we'll bring it. We can't bring a giraffe or anything like that, okay?
worry.
But
Do you
we'll bring-
have one?
No, I don't have a
I was
giraffe.
gonna say.
I would love to, but
Tell
no,
us
I don't
about
have a giraffe.
Cody, so what's your vision? Do you hope to like have children one day and then they inherit it like you did with Ron, or what's your...
Okay, that's a great question. For me, I can hope that my children enjoy the animals as much as I do, but I wouldn't expect them to. Wouldn't want to force my kids to do anything, so I got to let them be themselves. My vision is to hopefully grow the business to a point where we can maximize the amount of children that we can impact, I understand that it's not a life-changing experience to hold a snake. Maybe for some people it is. But for me, when we go to a school and the kids get to touch an animal and learn about an animal and enjoy it,
It's life-changing for them?
It is life-changing for me, actually, but hopefully for them too. But for me, it's super powerful. And the vision is to maximize that, get the most kids involved, and share as many experiences with people as we possibly can. If my future kids are involved, great. If not, I will keep doing what I do.
Did you go to school at all and study animals? Like, what did you?
Animal school was my house. You know what?
So you never did any type of
No,
Okay.
No formal training, but I like to say that with the amount of experience that I've got with my dad,
I'm sure it's beyond what you would learn.
I don't like to make comparisons, but I feel that way.
Okay.
Yeah. We were having tortoise babies and breeding chameleons and stuff when I was 3. So I've been around it my whole life. I am always open to learn, so I'm ready to learn from anyone who knows something that I don't. But I don't feel that I need to.
Well, Cody, let me ask you this: do you ever get phone calls when people get something and they don't know what to do? Like, hey,
every day,
all the time.
All the time.
Oh, they're blowing you up with all that.
You know what? It's not bothersome. It's great. It's great because I'd rather them call us and we can have a conversation about what to do with the animal rather than I get stories like, oh, I found a snake in my backyard. I chopped his head off with a shovel, and I'm like, oh gosh. So I appreciate when they call me because they have irrational fears with a lot of the animals, so they don't behave accordingly when they see the animals, unfortunately. So I like when they call me. Yes.
Maybe we should do like an online school just to teach people how to care for certain animals.
Hey, we've thought about YouTube or something. Okay, so we may.
You wouldn't get as many calls people that don't know what to do with the animals.
Yeah, I could just tell them go on our YouTube. I made a video about it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may do that. We've actually talked about that. Kids always ask me at every school we go, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" It's like, well, no, but maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should, perhaps.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you, Madeline.
Yes, thank you for helping out, and thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
You enter this door with expired tags. Beyond is another dimension, a dimension of regulations, a dimension of long waits. You have reached the registration zone. What looks like an ordinary shop is actually Mitchell Smog, located in the heart of the Tower District, a few minutes from the DMV. Mitchell Smog offers your vehicle a STAR-certified smog inspection. So remember Mitchell Smog when you need to pass through the registration zone.
The Saga of Bridget and Amanda by Carol Love Forbes brings to life the struggles of historical women in early America. Find the Saga of Bridget and Amanda on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and order your copy today.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss G. I offer fun and affordable promotion and advertisement on my talk show. It is called Fresno Vibes. We talk, we play awesome music. I also feature a bunch of different bartenders from different places. I like to have restaurants. I like to have any event, any kind of fun stuff. Contact me at rmgmissg@gmail.com and we will have so much fun and we will promote your business, promote your event right here on my show. So contact me. We'll have fun. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Chris DeVold. Tune in every Friday night on CentralValleyTalk.com when I bring you Sex, Drugs, Chris DeVold, where I'll give you 3 guesses on what we talk about. And I also vow to bring you 1 live local music act a week. So tune in every week because you never know what kind of music you're going to hear right here on CentralValleyTalk.com.
A dynamic litigator, in-tune listener, and forward thinker with almost a decade of experience, Nasser Nekomanish is a skilled attorney servicing clients throughout the Central Valley. When you need a lawyer, call 559-441-0114 and ask for Nasser Nekomanish.
Today we bring you the first part of our global broadcast exclusive conversation.
The streets of Tahrir have once again been filled.
Key issues here at the United Nations Climate Change Conference remain unresolved.
Police are saying the protesters to move further and further away.
I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!
When you need to get fit, contact Gary Torres, IFBB Pro, specializing in weight loss, body transformations, and contest prep. Email Gary Torres 5336@yahoo.com.
Attend the Fresno Dixieland Society's Halloween Costume Ball on October 13th, 2019 from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Fresno Elks Lodge located at 5351 North Diana Court in Fresno, California. Admission is $10 for Fresno Dixieland members and $15 for non-members. Arrive at 12:30 for a dance lesson with Chris and Veronica. Call John for more info at 559-779-2484 or visit FresnoDixie.com.
Somewhere all over the place, standing there preaching you would change, but you never did, baby. You were never there, darling. I was there at the call of my name. You were never there, darling, and maybe that's why I don't remember your name anymore. Remember your name anymore. Don't you dare, don't walk away just because you got nothing to say. Watching your ego deflate on the floor right before me. Down on your knees, and you're begging me, please forgive you and just walk away. And I don't work like that, darling. You were never there, darling. Oh, I was there at the call of my name. You were never there, darling, and maybe that's why I don't remember your name anymore.
Welcome back to the Everything Sparkle Show. I want to say the person that does my lovely graphics, Ron Cadiz, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Ron. With us is the lovely, famous, and talented Melanie Warner. Thank you for coming on my show.
Oh, thank you. More infamous, I think, is appropriate.
Defining moments.
Yes.
So, tell us about what inspired you to write this book.
Oh, goodness. Well, I wish I could say it was out of another purpose, but honestly, it was because I went through the death of my son. My son basically died in my arms. We had an accident at a hospital as a medical error, and I almost died. And then my son, basically, I learned I was going to live, and then I learned that my son wasn't. And so he died a couple of days later. And it just really shut me down. Nothing equipped me for that. I always thought as a parent, oh my gosh, if something ever happened to my kids, it's like your worst nightmare. And I literally said to myself, if anything ever happened to my kids, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be here. And I had two other kids. I had a daughter and a son that were older. They were pretty young when this happened, so they didn't really understand either. And it was really tough to navigate how to explain to them what happened and where he was. And then we had to go through a lot of legal stuff. And are we going to sue the hospital? Are we going to, make all these decisions? And then in the middle of that, you're going through grief. And then people grieve differently. And it really cost me a lot more than just losing my son, because I shut down so hard and I didn't deal with it very well. And I honestly didn't care whether my business survived. I didn't care if my marriage survived. I just have never been in that deep of a hole before. And I was kind of white knuckling and trying to hang on to everything. And I just couldn't do it. And there was a point where my son, my marriage, and my business were all on life support at the same time. And it was just overwhelming. And I remember going through this process. It just felt like this complete metamorphosis of just saying, you know what, I got to do something differently because everything shut down. And then later, when I started talking to other parents, I realized that there's a very high percentage of divorce. There's a lot of people who abuse drugs and alcohol through self-medication to numb their feelings and their pain. And then there's even a lot of people that either attempt suicide or contemplate suicide. And not only the parents that are bereaved, but siblings and extended family, people that are left behind that just really don't know how to deal with their grief.
Melanie, can you give us a little bit of background of what happened, all that you would like to say about what happened, like how old your son was and
Sure.
what you guys were both?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely. So my son was very healthy, and this was actually during delivery. So I had carried full term. We had gone to the hospital, and there was an unsupervised trainee who came into the room and overdosed a drug. She gave me 8 times the legal dosage. That particular hospital ended up breaking 26 California protocols that day. I didn't know any of that till later. All I knew that there was something seriously wrong. And there was a series of things all throughout the day as I was in labor where even my family and friends in the room were like, something's not right here. And this is what I want to remind people of, like, trust your gut and trust your heart and your soul, because it's there for a reason. It's a wiser part of ourselves, and those are the things that we don't always listen to. And I remember even when we pulled up that day, my husband and I at the time, he said, something doesn't feel right. And I said, I know, me too. And we went in, and they were completely overrun. They had way too many people in the hospital. I mean, they were inundated with deliveries. They didn't have enough people on staff. They literally were like, we're overwhelmed. We don't have a room for you or anything.
So was this a natural childbirth or a scheduled C-section?
So it's a good question. So this was natural. I was in labor. I had a doctor that had told me, that he was basically it was about a week before the baby was due. And basically when they came in, they induced labor because I was actually having contractions, and and yet the baby wasn't due for a week. So they decided to schedule it and come in and induce labor. And they gave me a drug called Pitocin, which a lot of people use in delivery. It's used a lot. But on the actual brochure and the manufacturer's website even, it just says do not use unless it's an emergency. In other words, it shouldn't be used as a convenience to have a baby. I didn't know any of that, again, at the time. And my doctor literally said, when they said they're giving me this drug, I didn't know anything about it. And I'm somebody, I don't take an aspirin, I don't take medication, I don't take anything.
So you have a sensitive kind of system.
I do.
Everything.
And I really believe in natural. Like, I really struggle with, should I even do an epidural? Like, this is my 3rd child. I'm like, okay, I've been there, done that. I know what to expect. I know it's going to hurt, but I want to make this, I don't want my baby to be all drugged out. And you know what I mean? I just thought, like, what if I don't take medication and I'm giving it to my baby? How is that going to be? So anyways, I said to the doctor, is there any risk whatsoever for me or my child? And he said, none whatsoever. In fact, I'm inducing my wife next week. So I thought, okay, I feel safe, right? And it's a good question. I'm glad you asked this, because this is not something that I talk about that often. And I've become a medical advocate for these reasons. So not to get into too much graphic detail, because I don't want to turn off the guys that are watching if we start talking too much about, female stuff.
Oh, they can handle it.
Yeah, but I will tell you, and the reason I want to stress this is because if there's anybody else who's going through this and is contemplating, first of all, they do use Pitocin a lot, and nothing happens. Like, it's perfectly fine. Sometimes it's fine. Like, it doesn't cause a lot of problems. The problem was inducing that early, because it's kind of like when you try to cut an avocado and it's not ripe, right? So when you mess with Mother Nature and the baby hasn't fully developed and is not really ready to come out, if you do it too soon, it can create problems. So he actually planned this and had given me some, something to help the lungs grow, so there wasn't a lung issue and all of this. We had planned, to have this baby and have it a week early because he was going on vacation. So it was really more about the convenience of the doctor.
I've heard about stuff like this before.
It was more because I thought, I want my doctor. I don't want to just walk in and have somebody else. So he suggested it because he was going on vacation the next week when I was due. So I didn't think anything of it. And anyway, so he came in, he broke my water. Then he went to another hospital to give birth somewhere else. And then all throughout the day, there were other people coming in. And again, there was an immediate reaction when an unsupervised trainee came in, adjusted the Pitocin levels, and I felt it instantly in my body. My heart rate shot up, and everything happened that went wrong. And it was in the middle of a shift change. So what you don't realize is that if people are working on 12-hour shifts, then it was around 7 p.m., I think, or something. So they were getting off work at 7. The other people were coming in at 7. So they had this 30-minute break where they kind of just recap everything and they tell each other what's going on. So apparently this all happened in the middle of a shift change. So, and my body was giving off signals, but they didn't have a lot of the right equipment. They didn't have a room prepped for an emergency C-section. Again, I learned all of this the hard way later. They didn't have enough people on the floor. And when they came in, they were freaking out. Like, okay, it's time to push, and all these things happen. And they kept trying and trying and trying, and the baby wasn't coming out. And the doctor and the nurse actually got in a physical altercation where they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And the doctor said, "We need to get this baby out now. It's an emergency." And the nurse was like, "I refuse to help." And I've never seen that in a hospital environment. And when the doctor came in the room, he was very angry. And this wasn't even my doctor. This was another doctor whose job was to come in and just catch the baby. That's what he thought.
So the nurse refused to help because?
The nurse refused to help because she believed that we should continue to push, right? And she didn't think that we should have a C-section. It was unnecessary in her mind. At least that's what
So because she saw something wrong, she didn't want to be a part of it.
Right. So then he wheeled me in an emergency room, emergency C-section. And I remember saying to my mom, my poor mom, she has 10 grandkids, and I think this was her 10th. And it was her last chance of being in the room when one of her grandbabies was born, because she obviously was in the room when we were born, but she had never experienced that. And so I was like, I wanted her to be there with me, but they were like, "You can't have anybody in the room." Not even my husband at the time. They were like, "You can't have anybody here." And they wheeled me out, and they said, "We got to do an emergency. It's an emergency." And I remember saying to my mom, "Don't let him cut me." I was just freaked out. So they gave me this spinal block from the neck down where I couldn't feel anything from the neck down. And I was fully awake, fully alert, no medication, just a spinal block. So I watched in horror as they pulled all these body parts out of my body and did all this work on it. I was in danger of bleeding out. I found out I was 90 seconds away from bleeding out and dying. And later they told me that my son's position in my body actually kept me from bleeding out. And so he saved my life. That was really hard because ultimately I had during that moment, it's too much time to talk about here, but I had a very transformational spiritual moment where I really thought I was going to die. And the first thought was, I'm only here in a room with the doctor and a few other people. Everyone on the other side of that door, my family, my mom, my mother-in-law who was a minister, all these people that loved me and would pray for me, they didn't know I was in trouble. And I remember going, no one even knows to pray for me. That scared me.
Wow.
So it was kind of like that was a moment. It was just me and God. And I was like, you know what? If I have a choice, I don't want to go. I swear to you, I said, what about my husband? What about my kids? What about my laundry? I was thinking about all my
it all comes together at once.
All the things in my life that I hadn't done. And here's what's wild. A week before, I found this list of things I had written when I was 18 years old. It was all the things I wanted to do in my life. Top of the list, it said things to do before I die. And I was laughing at it going, oh my gosh, did that. And I marked off the entire list. These are things when I was 18 thinking it was going to take 100 years to do. And I was in my mid-30s and I had done it. I had done everything on the list.
What about skydiving at 50?
That's right. I had done it before.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
But what I did was I said, oh my gosh, when they said this is life-threatening and you might not make it, the first thing that went through my head was, did I manifest this? Because of that list, right? things I want to do before I
That's such a
die.
crazy thought. I understand it.
And I went, I need a new list. I'm out of things to do. And this was a week before I had the baby. So I thought, okay, I'll write my bucket list later, and, didn't think that I was, I could have kicked the bucket. I mean, so many women give birth every day in this country. We have all the modern necessities. And the truth was, again, becoming an advocate, learning this later, the United States has one of the worst infant mortality rates in the world. We're like number 2.
I've heard that.
I would have been better off squatting in a field in India by myself having a baby than dealing with all of the BS that I had to deal with at this hospital. I don't talk about it too much publicly, and I won't say the name of the hospital. I will tell you, the good news is this. After this happened, okay, a few days later, let me back up. During this process, all of this stuff happened. I found out I was going to live, and then I was told my son probably won't. That they said best case scenario, he will live, but he will have severe cerebral palsy, because what happened is my uterus ruptured. There are 5 major organs that lead to the uterus, and it's deadly. I mean, and I was the only woman in the history of that hospital that lived through it. Everyone else died on the table. That was 50,000 patients or something like that. So I felt extremely grateful.
Oh my gosh.
But I was also extremely pissed, because I'm like, hey, they jeopardized my life. They made mistakes that now made my son be on life support and have brain damage, and he was perfectly healthy. And I really honestly believe if we had been at any other hospital, because I've had other kids, didn't have that experience, that we would have been fine. Later, I learned that hospital had a lot of issues, a lot of problems. And I had to make a really tough decision, because I would drive by there every day, and I thought, I can't be mad every day for the rest of my life. And I remembered this quote from Nelson Mandela when he left this prison that he had been in for so many years, and he was an innocent man, and they said, how did you forgive him? He said, the minute I walked out of that prison, I forgave my captors. Otherwise, I would have been in that prison the rest of my life. And I didn't want to be in this emotional and mental prison, right? I didn't want to stay in that grief mode of being so angry and so hurt. So I made 2 very important decisions. One, I made a decision to forgive everybody involved. One thing that did happen is that doctor who came in to try to fix everything was so angry at the hospital, at the process, at the system, at how many mistakes were made, that he couldn't talk about, because there was a thing called tort reform. And if I would have sued the hospital, him being honest about what happened would have put other people in jeopardy, and it would have meant I would have had to sue the man that saved my life. And that didn't feel right. So I also made the decision not to sue. So I really believe that the decision to forgive them almost within days, and the decision not to sue, but instead to become an advocate, meet with the directors, meet with the board, meet with doctors, and explain what this was like from a patient's perspective, that somehow my son's life would not be in vain, and it would make things better. And that doctor had almost decided to quit. He had thought that he was going to quit his practice. He had never lost a baby, and he was really upset. And I told him, when he said, your uterus ruptured, I said, take it out. This is my 3rd baby. I'm good. I don't need any more kids. I'm going to be fine. I didn't know that my son was in trouble. I thought, hey, I was naive. Something happened in the hospital. I'm safe, right? I mean, if you have a problem at the hospital, you're surrounded by experts. Right. You can't die in the hospital, right? That's what I thought. So he didn't do that. He actually rebuilt my uterus, because he knew what was going to happen with everything and with my son, and he felt horrible, and I didn't even know. So when I said, take it out, he didn't. He rebuilt it. And do you know, the miracle was because of that doctor. It's giving me chills. Almost 3 years to the day, I had another son. And he's 11 years old now, and his name is Hudson. And he's such a miracle in our lives, because I didn't think I could get pregnant again. I didn't think I could ever go through that again. And every day, that kid is an example for me of who God is, and how he said, I didn't forget about you. I know what your heart wanted. And it just reminds me every day of that miracles can happen. And he's a walking, living miracle. And so am I, in the fact that I lived through that, not only the physical stuff of everything, but then going through that process of grief and losing my son and being so devastated and focusing on what I lost that I lost track of what I still had. And so eventually I ended up getting divorced. I ended up losing money and I couldn't function. I couldn't focus on the business. I was so distracted by my emotions and everything and so shut down that I had to make some really big decisions. So I shut down the business, which was my only source of income. On top of that, I went through, so not only divorce, losing my son, then divorce, then losing my only source of income, having to reinvent myself, and then going through bankruptcy, foreclosure, tax audits, and even tax court to defend myself for money that was owed for a company I didn't even have anymore. And I'm brutally transparent about this because there is no shame in the game of grief. There is nobody on the planet that can judge you for what you do or don't do when you're feeling that, because it's such a dark pit. And losing a child is the complete, I don't even know how to explain it. It is different than any other grief I've ever felt, because when you lose a parent, you're considered an orphan, right? If you lose a spouse, you're considered a widow or widower. But when you lose a child, there isn't even a word for it. There isn't even a word for it. And I started talking to other parents, and they were having trouble. Like, some of them had already been through it, and I felt inspired by seeing them laugh again. I went, how can they laugh again? How can they find joy? How can these people have this great relationship and keep their marriage together when they went through all of this stuff? And I just realized that there was a way to get through it, and there was a way to figure it out. And it just came down to this attitude and the way that you looked at things and the tools, right? And so I started utilizing those things and figuring those things out for myself. And that's really what led to writing a book. Because
And this book is a tool for other people experiencing grief.
Absolutely. I don't ever, ever, ever want anybody I know, or even people I don't know, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, right? I don't want anybody I know as a human being to suffer at that depth. And I see it every day. I talk to people who call me because they've read the book or they've heard about my story, and they reach out and they're so desperate for support or advice or just something that's just going to change it, right? And some of them are suicidal. And I pray every day that I give them the right words, that I can give them hope instead of more despair. And I figure if I can live by example and survive all of that, you know, then I know I can help other people through it, because I can relate to their pain. I know exactly what they're going through.
And we can buy this book. Anybody can buy this book anywhere.
Yes.
So
yes.
Amazon and...
Right. So you can go to my website. It's mydefiningmoments.com. Oh, you're so good. What's his name back there?
Michael. He's amazing.
Michael, you're amazing. So it's called mydefiningmoments.com. That's the website. There's a link to get the ebook. There's also a companion guide and a workbook for people who want to walk through this process. We also do like monthly support meetings, and we actually have an organization that we plugged in with called compassionatefriends.org. So anybody you know that's gone through the loss of a child, or if they're a sibling of they lost a brother or sister, they can go to compassionatefriends.org and find additional resources any city that you're in. And then one of the things that I did is I started to get so busy that I felt horrible that I couldn't talk to people an hour or two every day. I just couldn't do it. I had a business to run, and I had family, but yet my heart ached for them. So I actually created this program that is so cool because it's all online. And I found that 90% of the time my conversations were all the same. I knew exactly what their pain was. I knew exactly how to solve it. I knew what they needed to hear. And I knew that plugging them in with other parents was very helpful. So we actually created an online, like a whole online course where people can go into it as much as they want. They can do it from the privacy of their home. They can use all these tools and materials. And more importantly, they can plug in with a group of live people, of other parents that are going through the same loss, many of whom have survived it and have their own wisdom and guidance. So we actually have an upcoming workshop coming up October 19th. It's a Saturday. It's a 4-hour workshop. It's kind of a grief masterclass, and it's online. So you don't have to get in a hotel or get on a plane. You can do it from the privacy of your home. You get a copy of this book and the workbook. Here's a copy of the workbook for part of the class. These are the tools. Great. So, and I'll walk you through these steps. But more importantly, and the thing that I'm the most excited about, is Tony Robbins is a personal mentor of mine. He's been a friend and a mentor for over 20 years. And he personally trained me to be a life coach. And I use those skills to help people work through grief and loss, because it oftentimes grief, it not only affects your emotions, but it affects your health and your finances and your relationships, and it can shut everything down. And so if you ever saw the film Collateral Beauty with Will Smith, great film, great film. That's the kind of clients that I have, people that have a lot to lose and they don't want to, like, they can't afford for their whole life to fall apart, and they need to learn to have certain tools to be able to keep moving forward in life and kind of shift a little bit in their energy and their thoughts.
Yeah, because trauma is so huge right now, and
it is
learning
an emotional
how to
trauma.
deal with it. It's very hard,
right? And so a lot of times people try therapy and things like that. And nothing against therapists. I almost got my license in clinical therapy, and I know hypnosis and all that stuff. I've done that for 25 years. However, the challenge I found is that people were in so much pain, and if they went to somebody and that person never had a child, never lost a child, they didn't relate to their pain. They were telling them what they should have felt based on how they were trained. Nothing against a therapist, because, like I said, I'm a recovering therapist. However, it's sometimes you don't solve something by going and talking about it for years and months. It keeps you stuck in that mode. What Tony taught me is transformation can happen in minutes. So I was speaking at a national conference for compassionate friends 2 years ago, and I saw this tool for the first time. I mean, I used it for the first time. And there were thousands of people there that were parents who had gone through it. And we were in a room, and I said, how many of you believe that you can feel better and feel transformed like that in a matter of minutes? Not one hand was raised. And I said, who's willing to give it a try? One woman's hand shot up so fast. Her name was Olivia. And I actually have this recorded and documented. It's something we use in our training to show people. And I worked with her on this tool that was it took her about 6 or 7 minutes. And you could see her face completely change as she let go of the heaviness of carrying this grief and finally realized that so much of carrying it was her decision. She couldn't control the circumstances, but just the relief on her face was incredible. And everybody in the room was in tears, and they were shocked that this is something that could happen that quickly. Now, Olivia had lost her son. 6 months later, she lost her husband.
Oh my gosh.
And she'd been suffering for 3 years. And she was just adorable. And I love this transformation. And it's just things that you can do that shift the energy, that change your thought process. And those are the tools that I really, that's where my heart is, to teach those to people so they're not suffering.
Thank you so much, Melanie, and thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this with me.
Absolutely.
This is your second time on here. I want you to come back later.
Thank
I know you're
you.
going to go, you're a bestseller, and you're going to be very, very busy.
Oh my gosh, I just want to say thank you. I mean, you're one of the first people I told. It was yesterday. I was in Target, and I got this notice that my book hit the #1 bestseller list in 2 different categories, which was hilarious because, so one of them was death and grief, which I expected. The other one was parenting. So I was like telling my kids, hey, I got the #1 book on parenting.
I'm
and
sure
they're
they
like,
love that.
I wish I had a picture of the boys celebrating last night. They're like this at the table on their phones, and I'm like, woo, you know. But no, I mean, yes, you can celebrate good things in life. And the thing is, we focus so much about how someone died that we forget to honor how they lived.
Right.
And all the things, everything I do is for my son, Carson Warner. He would have been 14 years old. He would have been going to Granite Ridge Middle School right now. And I see kids that I think, I wonder if he would have looked like them, you know? And there's so much beauty in that soul connection that he and I still have. I talk to him every day. I can feel him in my life. His soul is still with us. He is not, his body's not here, but I know his soul is working behind a lot of this. So thank you for all my angels who helped make this happen. And when I found out I was in Target, I screamed, and the lady's like, I'm at the checkout. And she goes, are you okay? And I said, yeah, my book just hit #1 bestseller. And she's like, you want a bag with this? Like, she didn't know what to say. So it was kind of weird being in public, but it was exciting. And I just want to thank everybody who bought the book, who continue to buy it. It's been out for 3 years. It finally just hit this groove. And sometimes, you guys, that's what happens. So if you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you have a book that's out there and it hasn't quite found its stream, another time I'll tell you the history of this book because it's a doozy.
Thank you so much. I would
Thank
say
you.
thank you to my niece Madeline, who was a great assistant earlier in our show. And we are going to lead you guys off with the premiere of Ring Toss.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Just because you got nothing to say, watching your ego deflate on the floor right before me, down on your knees, and you're begging me, please forgive you and just walk away. And I don't work like that, darling. You were never there, darling. Oh, I was there.
Well, here looks like a lucky couple that wants to play some ring toss. How about it?
Nah, no thanks, man.
Come on, man. You got no money to play? Your lady wants to play? Treat your lady right. Everybody's a winner with me. You ain't got to go in there now. Got the ring toss game right here with me.
Finishing the whole fucking thing. Oh, hey. I want to ask you something important. Jessica, I've loved you since the moment I've laid my eyes on you. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Well, that was just beautiful, y'all. Catches touched me right there.
Hey man, we're kind of busy.
Hey, I don't want to ruin your whole night or nothing. I just had a quick question from earlier tonight when I ran into you at the carnival.
We're gonna go.
Hey! Take one more fucking step, and there won't be no goddamn wedding.
What do you want from us? Money?
I don't want no fucking money. I don't want money. I want to play a game.
If we play your game, will you leave us alone?
I think we could work something out. Here's the rules now. You gotta get at least one ring and one bottle. And you win the grand prize. But if you don't, I'd hate to think what might happen to you. Come on now. Let's play a game. Let's have fun with it. Come on.
Can we buy more tries?
Well, I don't see why not. Well, look what we got here, darling. This gives me an idea. Tell you what, I'm gonna place this box right here. And you get one chance to toss that ring into that box. And then you get to go on home tonight and sleep in your bed. But if you miss,
What's your emergency?
There's two people on the. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere.
You gonna take me on the Ferris wheel or what?
Got it, babe. That's like $10.
I'll teach you way. Don't be a cheapskate.
You act like I got feria.
Come on, let's go.
No estés chingando.
Let's go.
Fuck it, let's go then.
Hey, you all feeling lucky? You Senorita want to play the game of ring toss with me?
Babe, look at this green shake finger.
Now, who needs to go to a fucking carnival when you can play fucking parking lot ring toss with a fucking bomb?
What are we gonna win? A beat up old hat or a shopping cart full of trash? Babe.
Listen, Holmes, I apologize. We'll play.
All right, that's what I want to hear. Now I got me some new friends to play now.
Órale.
What are you doing now?
Here, hold my phone. I know the rules. Now go fetch, you fucking perro.